Imagine this, it's the dead of winter and your home suddenly plunges into darkness. The power grid is down, now what? You're in the very heart of winter, a time when the world outside is blanketed in white, and warmth becomes a luxury. Suddenly, the comforting hum of your home's heating system falls silent. Darkness swallows your surroundings, and the cold begins to creep in through the cracks. You're facing a winter grid-down situation, and it's a harsh reality that could happen to any of us in these uncertain times. In such scenarios, the cold isn't just uncomfortable, it's a formidable adversary. Your home, once a beacon of warmth and safety, becomes a battleground against the biting chill. And the darkness isn't merely a lack of light but a shroud that makes even the simplest tasks daunting. But fear not, because this is a battle you can prepare for, a battle you can win. When the power grid goes down, it's easy to panic. Your mind might race, imagining the worst-case scenarios. But remember, your initial reaction can shape the course of events to follow. It's vital to maintain a calm demeanor and encourage everybody in your household to do the same. Panic won't help anyone, but a clear head will allow you to think logically and take necessary actions promptly. Next, gather your emergency kit. This should be a pre-packed collection of essential items: flashlights to pierce the darkness, batteries to power your devices, and essential documents you might need in a crisis. Having this kit ready and accessible can save you precious time and effort. Then it's time to centralize. Gather your family members and ensure everyone is safe and accounted for. This isn't just about physical safety, but also about providing emotional reassurance. In times of crisis, there's comfort in togetherness. Finally, assess the situation. Evaluate the extent of the power outage and identify any immediate threats. This will help you develop a game plan tailored to your specific circumstances. The first few minutes following a power outage can be chaotic, but remember, staying calm and getting organized are your keys to survival. This is the cold reality, and it's a reality you can conquer with the right preparations. Now that we're organized, let's talk food and water. When the grid goes down in winter, your Prepper Pantry becomes more than just a stockpile. It transforms into your lifeline. What does a winter-ready Prepper Pantry look like? First and foremost, it's packed with non-perishable, high-calorie foods. We're talking about canned goods, dried fruits and nuts, freeze-dried meals, and energy bars. These foods are long-lasting and packed with the nutrients your body needs to withstand the cold. But it's not just about the food. Your pantry should also be stocked with items that can provide a source of comfort and warmth in the cold, dark winter. This is where warm beverages come into play. A steaming cup of tea, coffee, or hot chocolate not only helps maintain your body temperature but can also provide a morale boost during challenging times. When it comes to water, if your supply relies on electricity, you'll need an emergency stash. The rule of thumb is to have at least 1 gallon of water per person per day. This supply should last you for a minimum of 3 days, but aim for a week if you can manage it. And let's not forget about cooking. If your stove relies on electricity, it's crucial to have an alternative cooking method on hand. This could be a camping stove, a grill, or even a fire pit, as long as you can use it safely indoors. Remember, the key to a successful Prepper Pantry is organization. Everything should be labeled and easy to find, even in the dark. And don't forget to rotate your supplies regularly to ensure nothing goes past its best before date. So take a good, hard look at your pantry. Is it winter ready? If not, there's no time like the present to get it stocked and organized. Because when the grid goes down, you want to be sure you have everything you need to keep your loved ones fed, hydrated, and warm. Remember, your Prepper Pantry is your lifeline during a grid-down situation. Make sure it's well stocked and ready to go. Keeping warm is crucial in a winter grid-down scenario. When the power goes out and the temperature drops, staying warm becomes a top priority. It's not just about comfort, it's about survival. Hypothermia is a real threat, especially in severe winter conditions. The first step in staying warm is layering up. Dress in multiple layers, starting with a moisture-wicking base layer, an insulating middle layer, and a waterproof outer layer. This will help retain body heat and protect against the cold. Next, designate a communal space for warmth. This should be a small, well-insulated room where everyone can gather. By pooling body heat, you can create a warmer environment. Finally, don't forget about blankets and sleeping bags. These are not just for sleeping but can also provide an additional layer of warmth during the day. In particular, sleeping bags designed for cold weather can be lifesavers. Staying warm isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Make sure you're prepared. When the grid goes down, the lights go out. Let's talk about how to safely navigate in the dark. In the midst of a power outage, darkness can become an unwelcome guest in your home. But with a bit of forethought, you can turn the tables on the night. Flashlights and lanterns, preferably the battery-operated kind, are your first line of defense against the dark. They're portable, bright, and can be used to light up key areas of your home. Candles, too, can be a valuable source of light. However, they should be used with caution. Always place them in well-ventilated spaces away from flammable materials and never leave them unattended. The strategic placement of light sources cannot be stressed enough. Illuminate your paths, stairways, and common areas to ensure safe movement within your living space. As we've seen, darkness need not be an adversary. With the right tools and tactics, it can be managed effectively. Remember, a well-lit space is a safe space. When it comes to staying warm during a grid-down scenario, it's crucial to have alternative heating sources. Let's dive into this a bit more. Generators can be a lifeline during a power outage, providing electricity for essential appliances and temporary heating. However, they're not a one-size-fits-all solution. You'll need to consider the fuel type, capacity, and how to store it safely. Remember, generators should always be operated outside, away from windows and doors to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. Portable indoor safe heaters are also an excellent option. Propane heaters, for example, can be quite effective. They're designed to be used indoors, but even so, they should be operated with caution. Always ensure proper ventilation and never leave a heater unattended. Wood-burning stoves or fireplaces are another great heating alternative. They can provide warmth and a means to cook food. However, they require a good stock of firewood and a safe installation to prevent house fires. It's also important to consider passive heating methods. Heavy curtains, insulation, and even strategically placed aluminum foil can help trap heat and warm your space. You'd be surprised how much of a difference these small tweaks can make. In a grid-down scenario, you're not just battling the cold, you're also fighting against time and resources. That's why it's so important to plan ahead. Stock up on fuel, get your equipment in order, and know how to use it safely. And remember, no matter what heating sources you use, always have a carbon monoxide detector on hand. This silent killer is often overlooked, but it's just as deadly as the cold. The key takeaway here is this: alternative heating sources can be a game changer in a winter grid-down situation. They can provide comfort, safety, and even save lives. But they must be used correctly and safely to prevent further danger. Having alternative heating sources can make the difference between a bearable and unbearable situation. Communication is key in any emergency situation, and in a long-term grid-down scenario, it becomes even more vital. In the silence of a power cut, an emergency radio can be your lifeline, connecting you to the outside world. It's an essential tool for keeping updated with local news and weather forecasts, and for receiving critical alerts and instructions. Make sure you have a battery-powered or hand-crank emergency radio in your emergency kit. Next, establish a communication plan with family members and neighbors. If phone lines are down and cell towers are out, you'll need a way to relay messages and check on each other. Simple strategies, such as visual signals or predetermined meeting points, can make all the difference. Also, keep a list of emergency contacts. Include local authorities, utility companies, and other essential services. In the event of a widespread outage, these contacts can provide valuable information and assistance. Now, let's talk long-term survival strategies. In a prolonged grid-down scenario, resource management becomes crucial. Conserve your food, water, and fuel supplies by using them sparingly. Remember, every drop of water and every morsel of food could be vital in the days or weeks to come. If you're in a snowy area, use snow as a water resource. Collect clean, fresh snow, melt it, and then boil it for drinking water. Just be aware that this process requires fuel and can deplete your supplies if not managed properly. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of community. Reach out to neighbors for support and collaborate on resources. Together you can pool resources, share information, and provide assistance to each other. In times of crisis, it's community strength that often makes the difference between mere survival and thriving. Surviving a winter grid-down scenario is not just about the first few hours, but also the days and potentially weeks that follow. Remember, communication and resource management are your keys to long-term survival.